and welcome to this week's edition of the Las Vegas Advisor Weekly Update with Anthony and Andrew. Today is Thursday, September 12th in the year 2024, and we're here at our new setup at the studio.
We got some comments.
We got a lot of comments, yeah?
Good and bad. You know, it went from like love it to hate it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, some people said, no, it looks shabby, it looks boring. Some people said, boy, it looks way professional, that's the way to go.
Okay.
So, you know what, whatever.
I think it's a step up. I think, it's progress, not perfection. But, we're definitely making some changes to the studio that we think are for the better.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the backdrop. You know, for me, I agree. It looks like, well, why don't you have a visual there, some whatever. So, again, we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
But thanks for the comments. And but here's a good one. I like that. This is one I wrote. It says, I like the new setting, but honestly, I like you and the info you provide. So the setting really doesn't matter too much.
Hey, that's the truth, Ruthie,
Hey, look, when we started this, we said, look, we're not going to be all fancy crazy, especially off the start.
Yeah.
And we're going to rely on our information, that we're going to be talking about things that other people, don't necessarily talk about, and on a level that they don't talk about it. So, I mean, I think that's always been the thing that has carried the day for us here, and that's the main thing for us right now.
Well, one of the reasons I became a fan of LVA in the first place was because of Question of the Day and because of all the research that goes on. And so it's independent research, so it's different than you're going to find anywhere else.
Yeah, there's two different things. One is we're not beholden to the casinos.
Right.
So, we can say whatever we want. Two is, we're the biggest gambling publishing company in the world.
Right.
We've published more books on gambling than anybody, and better books. So, I mean, that's a whole lot of information that we have to work from, and that's what we try to bring to this. So, first of all, like you say, information is paramount. We'll do what we can about the set.
Anthony, it seemed like a bit of a slow news week, but not really, because there's been an announcement of a major project on the north end of the Strip.
Yeah, right. It doesn't really have a name. We're just calling it the Strip Towers.
Okay.
And this is 10 acres where the Riviera used to be.
Okay.
North End. And they want to build two towers, a mixed-use hotel, residential, retail, dining, and entertainment center next to Fontainebleau.
Right by the convention center, right by Fontainebleau, right there on the north end of the Las Vegas Strip.
Yeah, for this 10 acres, they paid $125 million.
Nice.
We talked about this earlier in the year, and everybody was like, well, who bought that, and what's going to go on it? Well, this is supposedly it. Here's the detail on this. It says two 60-story towers. The Fontainebleau is 67, by the way, 67 stories next to it. Shopping center, pool complex, events venue, and 400-foot amusement ride. No casino.
Why would you not do a casino?
There's something about the people who are behind this are the same ones who did the 63 complex in City Center.
Okay.
All right. And it's the same thing. It's shopping. I mean, so it's retail, it's dining, it's bars, and it doesn't have the only casino component there is Aria, which has always been there.
Right.
It doesn't have its own casino component. Obviously, it works for these guys. They're able to license out the square footage at a good number. They're able to turn a profit with the way they're doing it. They've already proven they can on the south side. Mm-hmm. So they don't want to fool around with the casino, and they're going to let the casinos around it, cover that function.
Okay.
And so this is the idea. There's no name, there's no budget, but I think it's going to happen because they've already done it once. And these developers have done other things in Vegas too.
Yeah. But
this 63 complex at City Center came through just the way they said it would. It came on budget. I mean, on time. I'm not sure about budget, but I think this is going to happen. So it's just another thing for the north end of the Strip where Fontainebleau is, and you got Wynn Encore, and things are happening.
All right. So this week there was the first presidential debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. And what do we know about this from the gambling markets, Anthony? Who won the debate?
Well, that's an interesting question because everyone says who won.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I watch these things on TV, I try to go to both sides.
Right.
So you watch Fox News and you hear all about Trump, and you watch CNN and you hear all about Harris. Yeah. Right. And I try to go back and forth. And then they have their polling, and it's so biased. on one side they're saying Trump won, the other side they're saying Harris won.
Right.
Right? I like to look at the gambling markets.
That's right.
And
Okay, so what do you do?
I look at the lines, and I watch the lines. I'm not going to say who I thought won.
Right.
I'm not going to say who I prefer politically because I'm pretty much apolitical. I really don't care.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I am interested in how the gambling markets follow these things.
Okay.
So when they were debating, when it was on, I had the lines up. I had live lines up offshore. You can't bet them. It's not legal. It's not allowed in the United States to bet on the elections, except for some what they call prediction markets.
Okay.
But offshore, it's big. It's big business. And I watched the lines. When it started, Trump was about a 125 favorite, minus 125. And as the debate went, his number steadily went down.
Right.
And down,
Interesting.
and down. Down to 115 real fast, down to 110, down to 105, down to pick'em. Mm-hmm. So what that says is that the gambling markets, people who were betting their hard-earned money, thought that Kamala Harris was winning the debate.
Okay.
And that would affect the overall election. It went as far as Trump being the underdog, plus 108. I actually saw it at plus 115 at one point. So he went all the way from minus 125 to plus 115.
So if you're looking to bet this, do you want to bet this while the debate's going on, while there's a big swing?
Well, it's hard to say. You want to bet it at the point where you can think you're going to get your best number.
Okay.
And I don't think anybody expected that Harris was going to do as good a job as she did, at least in the eyes of bettors.
Okay.
And it made that line move. All right. It bounced right back afterwards, but not to where it was. At this point, I checked it right before we shot this, and it's pretty much pick 'em between the two of them.
Okay.
Kind of like minus 110 both ways. So we'll see. We'll see how long it lasts. But I just think it's interesting to see how the gambling markets perceive this. They are historically, the gambling markets have been very accurate at picking winners. And they've been wrong a couple of times. Famously with Trump, they were wrong with Trump and Clinton.
Okay.
But right now, it's pick 'em right now. All right. Also, they had again offshore. They had their prop bets.
Okay. And
All right.
what are some of the prop bets?
Well, some of them they weren't that out there this time. Some of them are like, would they shake hands?
Okay.
No is a big favorite, minus 300. 3-1. No, they would not, but they did. Okay. Would Trump's suit be blue? All right, that seemed like easy money. That was minus 200. You had to lay 2 to win 1.
Okay.
Sure enough, he had his blue suit and his red tie. All right. Will Trump say radical at any point? Yes, minus 333.
Okay.
He did.
Okay.
He called it radical. Will the debate be interrupted by protesters?
Okay. Okay.
Yes, plus 700. There was no on this. There was only a yes. Any idiot who wanted to bet 100 to win 700 lost his $100. Who's going to get in there and protest?
Sure.
They got that thing locked down like crazy. All right, but these were some of the things we saw offshore. Always kind of fun to watch. But to me, the most important thing is watching how the line moves on who's going to win the presidency, which is a very good indication of who the public who was watching this with a discerning eye thought won that debate. And that would be pretty clearly Kamala Harris.
Okay. All right. So as we have been talking, it is football contest season. We just had the first week of football in the regular season. Anthony, what have we learned from this week?
Well, we've learned that football contests are extremely popular.
Yeah.
Really popular. Records were broken.
Okay.
We haven't mentioned what the numbers were. Lots of numbers here. All right. I've got to use a sheet on this. Lots of numbers. Survivor ended up with 14,266 entries.
Wow. Okay.
Amazing. That means that the winner-take-all prize is going to be 14,266,000.
There you go.
One person or a group of people splitting. $1 million went to 5,817.
Okay.
It didn't quite make the 6,000 that it needed to be break even.
So there's a small overlay.
Right. It was not break even. It was a small overlay. Only 183,000 extra in the pot. So what you do is divide the 183 by the number of entries, and that means that each $1,000 entry was worth $1,031.50.
Hey.
Right, in terms of expected value.
Okay.
The total here, taken in for prize money, over $20 million, circa alone.
Okay.
Quite amazing. Really something. Of course, the big story is what happened in week 1.
That's right.
And it was something of a slaughter.
Yes.
And we've seen this before. I'll talk about that in a minute. But the big favorite was the Bengals.
Right.
And what were the numbers here on this one? Let's see. 4,985 entries picked the Bengals.
Oh, wow.
All right. Now remember, in Survivor, you pick only one. It's not a point spread. They just have to win the game.
Yes.
If they lose the game, you're out.
Yes.
4,985 players are out after week one.
Wow.
Can you imagine putting up $1,000? You're out after week one. I can imagine. It's happened to me in the past.
Sure. Yeah, you talked about this. It did happen, and that's a real bummer.
Yeah.
You know.
The total number out, 5,564 were eliminated out of the 14,000. That's 39%.
Yikes.
That's a pretty big deal, man. I mean, that's a lot of people getting taken down.
Yeah.
It's not the worst. Let's see, what was it? To 2022, 56% of the field was eliminated on week one.
Oh, wow. That's terrible.
So
that's
this was
tough.
56% in 2022.
Yeah.
I remember when we talked about it. This time it was 39%. 45 players did not submit a pick.
Really?
They put up their $1,000 and they walked away. And that
What
was it.
happened, guys?
They are out of the contest. Total number of players remaining, 8,702.
Okay.
That means that mathematically, the expected value of the $1,000 that they put in is now worth $1,639 for each one of them.
That's right. Every week that people get out of the competition, the EV of your
Of your ticket that if you're still in it,
Goes
if you're
up.
still in the contest, it goes up.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, your chances of hitting it are very slim. You're going to have to go all the way. But it was an interesting first week. How'd it go for you?
Well, I'm only invested in the Circa Millions competition, and we won a few games, we lost a few games. It didn't go great.
Okay. It's I went basically on my million and super contest. I went basically 3 and 2s.
Okay.
And you would go, man, that's terrible. That's not good. Well, that's 60%.
Okay.
60% is never a bad week in a contest. Now you're going to need some 4 and 1s and some 5 and 0s to win
Right.
it. But 60% is, if you could go 60% all the way through, you're going to be pretty close to cashing. So if you went 3 and 2, if you went 2 and 3, then you got to do a little bit of catching up.
Right.
But
Well,
it's
that's
only
the other
week
thing about Circa Millions is that you can have multiple opportunities to win some money.
Yeah, it's cool. So we'll be covering this, not in as much detail as we did just now, but it was the first week is always the big separator, because nobody really knows what these teams are all about. We have more information now. We'll see going forward. Okay, so one more thing I want to mention. Brady KANNON'S show. We've talked about it. Footballcontestshow.com. Go to the website there, and you can log on Fridays and watch what they have to say. I'm sure they'll recap what we just talked about, but more importantly, talk about their picks going forward into the new week.
Hey guys, it's Andrew here from the Las Vegas Advisor. Become an LVA member for just $50 and you will get access to a treasure trove of members-only coupons that will make your Las Vegas experience unforgettable. Check the link in the description box below. All right, so one of the cool things about living in Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world, is that you get to be a part of a lot of different polls and a lot of different contests and things like that. And this one came across Anthony's desk, and I think you wanted to talk about it a little bit because it talks about what are the most famous streets
Street names
in the United States.
And wouldn't you expect that the Strip would be like right there?
Of course, you would imagine that it would be probably the most famous.
Yeah. So what do you think of it? I mean, just a crazy guess. What do you think? Like top 5, top 10, top 20? What?
I would think it would have to be top 5, the Las Vegas Strip.
Okay, it ended up 9th.
Wow. Okay.
9th, which to me, I was shocked by that.
Yeah.
I was like, really? The Las Vegas Strip is only the 9th most famous street? And this was based on, I should give the information on this. This was based on, the Action Network did this. They analyzed social media, Instagram, TikTok, Flickr, and Google searches to determine the most famous streets in the United States. The Strip taking 9th.
Okay.
Okay, so I started thinking, what would be above the Strip? What would you find? So I started, thinking of where I came from. I came from Detroit.
Right.
So in Detroit, that would either be 8 Mile.
Okay.
Right? Everybody's, because of Eminem and all that. So that would either be 8 Mile or Woodward Avenue, which is a big street there. I'm thinking of Chicago, right, which would be Michigan Avenue.
Okay.
Right? I'm thinking of San Francisco, which would be Lombard.
Or Haight-Ashbury.
Right. Or Philly. All right?
South Street.
South Street or Broad Street.
Right.
None of those.
Okay.
None of those came in above the Strip.
Now, see, I'm from LA, so I think Hollywood Boulevard, Sunset Strip, in New York, you might think Fifth Avenue.
Okay, all right.
Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills.
Okay, you got two of them. All
Okay.
right. So here's what came in front of the strip. New York had 4.
Okay.
All right. It was Broadway.
Broadway.
Broadway
Okay.
is number 1, the number 1 best known street.
Okay.
Okay. Wall Street.
Wall Street, sure, but there's no like. What do you see on Wall Street? I mean.
I don't know, but we're talking about recognizability, right?
Okay.
This was just fun. I really enjoyed reading through these. Fifth Avenue,
Sure.
which you mentioned. Park Avenue was 10th.
Okay.
Right behind. And the High Line. I don't know what the High Line is. I've never heard of the High Line.
In New York, I think it's relatively new, but yeah, the High Line's really nice. It's I think it goes along the west side of Manhattan.
Okay, I don't know that one. I didn't know the High Line. Los Angeles had 3. You named 2 of them: Sunset Boulevard and Rodeo Drive.
Okay, no Hollywood Boulevard.
No Hollywood, which is
Okay.
surprising.
Yeah.
The third one was Pacific Coast Highway,
Okay.
PCH, right?
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. I get it.
All right. And the one other one that came in above the strip was Main Street in Massachusetts.
Okay.
That's all it said, Main Street in Massachusetts. I don't know what Main Street that would be. It must be in Boston or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
But anyway, so I thought it was pretty interesting. And Fremont Street came in 18th.
That's a surprise too.
A little bit.
All right, and in this week's question of the week, it comes to us from Randy K. He says, I love the podcast. I share it with my Vegas friends, and I have a question regarding the operation of video poker machines in casinos. Okay, specifically, I'm interested in if casinos can adjust the payback percentages on these machines similar to how they adjust slot machines. Some of my friends who play video poker believe that the casinos can modify the payback rates, while I've always thought that the video poker outcomes are purely random and that any variations in payouts are solely determined by the pay tables.
Okay.
What do you think?
Randy is correct.
Okay.
He is right that the pay tables are what make the difference in the return percentage. If you want to change, all right, if you got a slot machine and you want to make it looser or tighter,
Okay.
all right, you look at something called a par sheet, which the casinos are given, and they choose this frequency.
Okay.
And the machine can be programmed. It's still a random function, but the randomness is, the results are programmed to pay out X percentage, which it comes out to.
Okay.
It doesn't work that way in video poker. It works off a random number generator as well. However, the changes are made in the pay table. So let's say you've got a bonus poker machine with paying 8 for a full house and 5 for a flush. 8-5 bonus poker, they call it.
Correct.
That's 99.17. All right, let's say you want to make more money on that machine. You change it from an 8-5 to a 7-5, and that drops it to 98.01.
Right, meaning on your full house, you now get 7 credits on one
Right.
bet.
So it goes about 1.1% down. You want to take it down further, then you go down to what you usually find in the bars, which is like a 6-5 bonus poker.
That's the one that we always talk about, right? That's your typical bar bonus poker.
Yep, and drops it all the way down to 96.87.
Okay.
All right, so that's the answer. Can they? Is it similar that they can adjust the returns? Yes, they can, but they do it. But it's not similar. They do it differently, and that's why we say that video poker machines are quantifiable, because we can look at that pay table and that we know that over time, it's going to come out to these percentages. Its probability sees to that.
Okay. So, what about slot machines? Like, you can hear that downtown is a little bit looser than the strip.
That's because they're picking higher returns on their par sheets.
Okay.
They're giving a choice. They might have. I've seen par sheets. They might have 15 or 20 choices of hold percentages, and they go, "I'll take this one here." And like downtown, they're willing to go higher up the list because they want the reputation of being looser.
Okay.
Whereas on the strip, they tend to go lower on the list.
Okay. Is there like a rule of the return downtown is 91%?
You can look at numbers. They're starting to converge. They're starting to get closer and closer. And you can look at numbers, but they don't do it casino by casino. They do it by areas.
Okay.
And you can look at that in like gaming control board numbers and things like that. And there's a rule of thumb. Kind of a rule of thumb is that if you're looking for a place with a looser slot machine product, then you look at their video poker returns. And those that are better video poker houses tend to be better slot houses in general.
That's a really good pro tip.
Mm-hmm.
And in this week's Jackpot of the Week, it comes to us from Justin W., who is the nephew of Tanya, who works here at LVA.
This one makes me laugh.
It is pretty funny. Okay, so Justin turned 21 last week, and he stayed up all night until midnight so he could go to the casino. He went to the Suncoast, and he doesn't know much about how to play. He doesn't know that the drinks are comped. He doesn't know much of anything, but he hit a royal flush on nickels for $200, we think. I mean, that's pretty lucky, right?
Not necessarily.
Okay, not so lucky to hit the royal on your 21st birthday.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. It's a cool story. I mean, the guy actually has been waiting a long time to gamble, right? He stayed up all night, didn't wait to get up in the morning. He waited till it was midnight so he could show his ID.
It's like Christmas Eve.
Yep, and sure enough, he went and hit a royal. That's not necessarily the best thing that can happen to you.
Right.
You know, people that come to Vegas for the first time and they get real lucky, or people that move to Vegas and they get real lucky, that's not necessarily the best thing because it seems like, oh, see how easy that is.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes them a long time to learn that lesson that, no, it's not easy. And you just hit a 1 in 40,000 shot, man.
Yeah.
And you can't expect that to happen all the time. Hopefully, he'll have a head on his shoulders and understand that. But for me, for example, when I came to town, it went exactly the other way around. I got smashed. I mean, I just got it handed to me.
And you studied.
And I studied. I was prepared. I ostensibly knew what I was doing. I mean, I learned a lot of lessons since then. But I mean, I came out with like $2,800, and my second day in town, I lost $2,600 of it.
Yikes.
Yeah. So, I mean, thinking I knew what I was doing, I learned a great lesson there. And I mean, it's something that has helped me throughout my whole career, realizing how badly things can go. So, it's great that you do it, but you can look at it. We haven't shown the jackpot. I think we're putting it up now.
Okay.
Right? And you can see he doesn't even know how to take a picture of a jackpot.
That's right.
We can't tell from what he submitted. We can't tell really what he was playing or what he won. He said it was nickels, but you can sort of make out that there's $700 on there. Well, a nickel royal flush is $200. So I'm not exactly sure what exactly happened, right? But whatever. And I mean, just a cautionary tale to those of you who get lucky right off the bat. Don't think you can take it to the bank every night.
That's right. But congratulations, Justin. And if you're out there and you're filming your wins and your jackpots, do a wide shot. Try to capture the pay table. Try to capture the money going up. People, I'm learning too. When I post these things, people say, "Oh, you cut it short. We want to see the money going all the way till it finishes." And so,
well, this jackpot of the week submitted was definitely not shown. I mean, it was not shot by somebody with experience. That's for sure.
But congratulations, Justin. Good job. That's it for this week. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing and your Yelp comments, Google reviews, etc. It's always a good idea to, if you go on a coupon run and have a good experience with the coupon book, to write a little bit about it in Yelp or in Google reviews. Anything to add before we close the show, Anthony?
Thinking about this backdrop here. That's all I can say. Thinking about it.
All right.
I'm going to Las Vegas.